Kim, let's talk about this because Zelensky says that Russia is launching a new offensive in eastern Ukraine. Is Putin playing the administration?
Sure feels like it. Yeah, it's the spring. That is when both sides usually launch an offensive if they have the manpower and the weaponry to do it.
And why?
Because it's thought out, and the heavy tanks, et cetera, are able to move. There's less mud. And this is when Vladimir Putin can also push his offensive in that, Ukraine is being careful not to offend the Trump administration, especially after the disastrous Oval Office meeting. I spoke to a Ukrainian official today who tried to put a brave face on things. Oh, talks in Paris went well, talks in London went well. Yes, some of the rhetoric is bad between the leaders, but we're actually getting things done and we're optimistic. I'm still not hearing enough out of Trump himself that shows he understands the nature of Putin and Putin's conquest of Ukraine, and that Putin is going to say all the right things but do none of the right things, and Trump's going to end up looking ridiculous.
The word concessions come to mind, right? That was part of the Oval Office disastrous discussion about who was having concessions and who was not, who had cards. And despite Trump's frustration with Putin today, he is claiming that Russia is making concessions. Why don't you listen?
What concessions has Russia offered up thus far to get to the point where you're closer to peace?
Stopping the war, stopping taking the whole country. Pretty big concession.
What does that tell you about how he views the leverage that Russia has then?
Well, I mean, based on that statement, it seems that the President of the United States has no idea what's really going on the ground in the Russia-Ukraine war, because it's obvious that if Putin could have taken Ukraine, he would have taken Ukraine. He tried to take Ukraine. He never stopped trying. So he can't do it. So conceding to not do something that he can't do, it doesn't make any sense. It's logically unsound. So that's one thing. The other thing is that, all of the pressure that the administration has been applying this whole time has been on the Ukrainians. And none of it has been on the Russians, other than a couple of tweets. And the narrative that comes out of the Trump administration's negotiators, like Steve Witkoff, are all Russian narratives that are ahistorical and victim blaming. And this is the complete opposite way of how to set up a negotiation that's likely to be successful. So we can say that President Trump probably is being genuine when he says he wants to stop the war, but the way that he's doing is undermining his own goal, and he's finding that out the hard way by fumbling it and actually telegraphing that he's getting bored with it, then he's going to abandon it, which is the exact thing that plays right into Putin's hands. So it's just a comedy of errors. It's a diplomatic malpractice in action. And all of that plays to Putin's advantage because, of course, Putin doesn't want to stop the war, and now he has the perfect excuse. And I think it's all a pretext for the Trump administration pulling U.S. aid from Ukraine, which will, again, not end the war. It will just make the Ukrainians suffer more.
You have to wonder what our allies think about, and adversaries think about that being a concession. Also tomorrow, Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, is going to meet with Putin. And Russia's foreign minister told CBS News that peace talks were, quote, moving in the right direction. One, what direction is that, Kim? And how do you think this is going to go?
The draft plan that the U.S. has sketched out, according to Ukrainian officials, would have the U.S. legally recognizing Russia's illegal annexation of Crimea. Now, the Ukrainians aren't happy with this. They can't accept it. I had one official say, hey, at least we've got a plan to negotiate from. The problem is, this is Putin's wish list that the Americans have laid out. It is, Ukraine can't stomach it, European nations can't stomach it. And what about Russia's war crimes? All the ways that Russia has kidnapped Ukrainian children, all of these things that the Trump administration is just glossing over, that Europe and Ukraine won't be able to swallow because it's just a green light to Russia to keep doing it again and again and again. So the U.S. might feel like they're close to it because Russia's saying we like this, but the rest of the European or Western world says this is a no-go.
I'm not sure what the concession would be here for Russia to do, as you all articulated. Thank you both so much, Kim and Josh.